Let's bleach my curly hair from black to platinum without losing my curl pattern. This is what my hair looks like to start, and I've been taking really good care of it, and you can see that I have 3B, 3C hair and still will when it's pretty much white. The curls on top are a bit tighter than the curls on the bottom, like a lot of curly girlies, and the mohawk length is like 6-7 inches at this point, and the sides are around an inch. I'll weigh out the ingredients so you'll know how much of each product you'll need for whatever length of hair you have, and I'm starting by detangling my hair with a wide tooth comb to make it easier to section as I go. You can also use my rubber band sectioning method if your hair's longer though. I'm using the Schwarzkopf Blonde Me bleach that can lift up to 9 levels with their 20 volume developer because it's as low and slow as I can go and will give the least damage possible to my hair. I'm adding a bond builder even though there is bonding technology in the bleach, but I like to be extra careful when it comes to doing hair. Finna glove up, grab my scale, zero it out with a non-metallic bowl on it, and add in the bleach. I'm using 3 ounces of bleach for my length of hair and 6 ounces of developer at the 1:2 ratio. 1.13 ounces of the bond builder, and then mix everything together and make sure you don't leave any chunks. The bleach should be this texture, then you're gonna have to get yourself a man's so he can do the back and offer you moral support for the amount of time this is gonna take. I told him he was only gonna do this much, but he did end up doing more. Make sure to grab your 15-year-old hair dye shirt, and I had him start at the very back, just painting the lengths of my hair, leaving ½ an inch at the roots because the back of your head makes less heat than the top, so it processes the bleach much more slowly, and you always need to do the roots last since the heat of your scalp makes them process way faster than the lengths, so it'll help avoid uneven color and hot roots. I had him work his way to the front of my head until I could take over and see what I was doing, then he showed me the back, and this is what it looked like. Nice and even and saturated. Now it's my turn to do the front lengths of my hair, and I decided to use my hands instead of a brush because it was easier and I could really get in there, make sure everything was saturated well, and saturation is seriously the key to making sure everything comes out even, so I'm going over everything after and adding extra bleach. This is what it looks like when I'm done applying bleach to the lengths, which took 42 minutes, and after letting it process for 43 minutes, I added bleach to the roots using the same sectioning I already had from the first round of bleach, which made it so much easier. Then I smeared bleach all over the sides of my head to get the shorter hairs, and once again, make sure everything is saturated and that you get the sections of your hair that are easily missed, like the pieces behind your ear, any edge pieces, and the bottom of the back of your neck. I slathered extra bleach over everything, and this is how much was left over. Next, it's time to put on a shower cap and seal in the heat, and my friend Elaine helped me do that so I didn't accidentally move the bleach around. That application took 20 minutes and processed for 56 minutes. Then I rinsed it out, used part 2 of the bond builder before shampoo, did a protein treatment and deep conditioner, and this is what my hair looked like fresh out of the shower. Nice and light orangey yellow ramen noodles with the same hair texture I had before and a nice and even color. The back looks good, thank you Harrison, and now it's time for round 2 the next day. I'm starting by combing it out again to make it easy to section, then I mixed up 90% of the amount of bleach I used last time so I won't have any left over this time because your girl hates to waste. I applied this all over the lengths of my hair pretty quickly with just my hands since the very precise and hardest round was over, and I only started at the front because I could see it better and because I knew it would be a fast application. Then I added bleach to just the tips of the sides so they could process longer than the ½ inch root section, and of course I made it nice and saturated. This only took 17 minutes and I let it process for 48 minutes before adding the bleach to my roots and sides, which took 14 minutes total and was super easy to do with my hands, which is great for my DIY babes who might not have someone built into their home to help them with their hair. He checked the back, helped me put on the shower cap, and I bleached my brows. I let that process for 40 minutes, then checked to see if it was done processing, and it was, so it was time to rinse out, do bond builder part 2 before shampoo, and this is how light my hair turned out. I really like this shade of blonde on my skin tone, but if you want a neutral or cooler tone, I would recommend using a purple toner to counteract the yellow, but I decided to stop here because it was a perfect base to do a rainbow mohawk on top, so come back to see how that turned out. This is how my hair looked when it dried, and you can see that I still have super curly hair. It feels really nice to the touch, and because I only used a 20 volume developer, it gave me time to apply very thoroughly and not over process my hair. There is not a single hair that fell out, it didn't get gummy, and I wore it like this to a Fashion Week show while I enjoyed it for a couple days before doing the rainbow hair. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and please feel free to comment any questions you might have so I can help you guys out. Love you guys, bye! Mwah.